Gordon might just come up to you and be like, all right, Ryan, what are you making? And I've had this pile of ingredients in front of me for a minute, but then you don't want to like look like a fool and be like, you got to come up with something.
Like pig ears?
From Maine's cold coast to Connecticut pride, Vermont's green hills take it all in stride. Massachusetts traffic we grip and we grind with a Dunkin' iced coffee and no peace of mind. So New England stands up proud. Chowder thick, we shout it loud. From Fenway Chance to Rhode Island Tide, New Hampshire's cry, live free or die. So New England with Ian Brownhill.
Good friggin' morning from New England, folks, and welcome back to the So New England podcast, episode 65. We are getting up there. We're putting in some work, folks. As always, I am your host, Ian Brownhill, joined by my co-host, Robert Travisano, a.k.a. RJ, and a few other names that his friends have for him. Behind the lens, we've got Vinny Chens, taking care of all things Life's Better in New England, and of course, producing our wonderful podcast. And I brought my appetite, folks, because we got a good one. RJ, who do we got in our studio with us today?
When you spread love and positivity, it always finds its way back to you. And that's just how we met today's guests, doing what we do, sharing our amazing New Englanders, because that's what this podcast is all about. One of my favorite ways to bring people together outside of this pod is a delicious meal, something you all know I love, because who doesn't love food? And our guest for today's pod knows all about amazing cuisine and chefing up full bellies and huge smiles, making a career in the kitchen and sharing his love for food with the people all over. It is my pleasure to welcome Chef Ryan Scanlon to the pod.
Awesome.
Is that hype or what?
That was an introduction.
Are you ready to just chef it up around here?
That was an introduction.
You tell me what you need.
There we go.
All right, thank you so much for making the trek down. Now, you
course.
are originally a Boston guy. Where are you from originally?
So originally I grew up, I mainly was from the Cape Cod. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I grew up like mainly on Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, okay, nice.
Was born off the vineyard, but spent like majority of my like childhood and stuff there. Which was like really cool, like being that close to seafood and like all the farms and different stuff like that. Didn't really come from like a super foodie household, like per se, like in my like immediate family. It was just like me, my mom, my sister. So she obviously did the best she could with just like putting a meal on the table for us. But getting in the kitchen so young and like having a chef who kind of like took me under his wing and like really mentored me, like showed me like what it really means to like love and care for food and like making people happy. You know, it was just like those things like kind of just clicked immediately for me. And I knew I was just like, yeah, this is probably what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Hell yeah, that is
That's
awesome.
sweet.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, full transparency.
Yeah.
Not a good cook.
Can confirm.
Do love
He's a
do love food, but I definitely like what, Vin? I see you leaning over. Say something.
We're just gonna say can confirm.
And I definitely I'm very basic when it comes to like, my palate. It's not very expansive. So I'm going to have a lot of questions for you. And
Okay.
as they like to make fun of me for, I like to say I get very curious. And they think it's
That's
funny
great.
that I
It's
ask so many
great.
questions. So,
Oh, that's great. It is.
but also, I've never been to Martha's Vineyard before.
Okay.
I have been to Block Island.
Yep.
Give us a little bit of like the Martha's Vineyard. I need a little bit of like the lowdown. What is it like to grow up there, live there? I mean, obviously social media makes it look a particular way,
Of
but what's
course.
it actually like? Like, what's the real New England Martha's Vineyard experience like? Not like, the
Not like the tourist
fashion
like,
bloggers who come in and they're like,
like all
I
the
took my
tourists.
yacht in,
yeah, exactly. I mean, like the summers on the vineyard are like I used to, especially growing up, like me and all my buddies would just like die for summer on the vineyard. Like it was like just like something in the air. Like you could just feel like all like the energy, probably from all like the different rich people coming in town and stuff like that. You could just have like a different aura,
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
like come winter, it was like complete and utter ghost town. It's like so like you felt like this huge influx of energy and just like people and things going on. Like sure there's traffic, sure there's like people everywhere. You got to wait in line for your favorite restaurant or whatever it might be. But then come winter time, it's like all stripped away. So it's like you just feel like kind of just it's like almost like it's like a roller coaster of emotions almost. You know what I mean? Because it's like it is really cool. Even the winter, it's like the fall and whatnot. It's fun there, but it's like all the real fun things that you'd love to do. Like you're not really, like it's all outdoors, swimming, going to the beach, like different things like that, hiking around and whatnot. But it's like come wintertime, like you don't want to be outside like that. It's like it's freezing cold too. You get like the wind chill from the ocean from every angle too. But yeah, I mean, I definitely cherish a lot of like memories growing up there. Like my family, I didn't come from like a rich family. Like my mom, like I said, like did the best she could. But I think it was still a blessing, in itself to, grow up in such a beautiful place,
Absolutely.
and, like have, like I said before, just the abundance of like fresh seafood. I love cooking seafood like my whole life. Like my grandfather, he used to have a boat. So like we go out on the boat, we catch like fluke, we catch bluefish, like striped bass, like whatever you can name it. But like, we would put like 6 or 7 lures down at a time and like start bobbing and pull up like 6 fluke at once, and then
wow, that's
he had a
awesome.
little mini grill in the back of the boat with like a little cutting board. So we just fillet them right in the back of the boat, grill them up, and just a little salt and lemon juice. That's it. But it was just the freshest.
Simple.
Like and simplicity is like, that's another thing I've learned in the kitchen too. It's like, especially being young, I worked in a really good restaurant like from the start. Some people don't have that opportunity to like have zero experience and like get to be able to work around, some food and in an environment that's like a lot upscale. It was like, so it kind of put it into perspective. Like the restaurant that I started at, it's called Alchemy.
Okay.
Alchemy, and then there's also
and this is on the Vineyard?
This is on the Vineyard.
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
So Alchemy, and then there's another like restaurant like down the way. It's called the Atlantic. Like those two in this town, it's called Edgartown. Were kind of like the top restaurants like on the entire Vineyard. Like there's obviously a couple others scattered through, but like those were like definitely like the big money restaurants. So to be able to like work in one of those was like super cool. And
No
then,
kidding.
Yeah.
Edgartown. Okay, so there's towns.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
How big is the Vineyard?
So the Vineyard's not like, I think, don't quote me on this. I might be wrong, but I think it's 27 miles wide, like lengthwise. And
wow,
then, like,
that's a lot bigger
yeah.
than I thought.
Yeah, I mean it's got like 5-6 different towns on it. You know what I mean?
No, I mean
yeah.
that makes sense. That's like a New England, but like for us, it's just Block Island is just Block Island.
Yeah.
How many restaurants are there on the Vineyard? Total, like is like.
I mean, there's a lot. There's too many. Like,
but you're saying like the two are like those are the prime ones that you
Yeah.
want to work at.
yeah, like
Okay.
those ones, like so Edgartown, for example, is like what they would call like the preppy town. Like that's like
Gotcha.
where all like the real money goes. Like there's obviously money in different towns too, but like that's
Yeah.
like where people are going down, like pulling their boats up to the dock. Getting off, going to get dinner, getting back on their yacht. Like that's
Oh,
like
nice.
that type of almost like vibe over there. So
Hell yeah.
I started working at that restaurant. It's called Alchemy. And the chef who was working at, like, he came down, he used to work in New York City for some like really big chefs like Jean-Georges, Daniel Boulud, like these really, these are like Michelin star French chefs, like, the best of the best, like almost like the Gordon Ramsays of the industry, like not,
Gotcha.
like not the famous, chefs, but they're very well known within, within the industry. But, yeah, it's like, so he had like a crazy training from these guys over a decade long, like, opening restaurants for him and them and whatnot. And then he came down to the Vineyard because his family used to vacation down there when he was a kid. So he always had like some type of love for the island. I forget
Gotcha.
exactly how like those paths align, like how he, how he ended up getting to that exact restaurant, but he ended up starting there like 3 months before me. And I just remember I used to be like, I'm like, even though I'm a young guy, like I'm pretty old school when it comes to like going to like getting jobs and whatnot. Like I definitely do some online, but I'm like the type of person who will like print out a bunch of resumes and like a little vanilla folder, like a manila folder, and like walk around and like knock on doors and be like, you guys looking for people to work in the kitchen and whatnot. And it's worked out for me like a lot. Like I've gotten my foot in the doors that I probably wouldn't have got my foot in the doors. Cause like, if people meet you and they see that you're like, a well put together dude who can like put a sentence together and you're out here hustling, trying to get things going, they'll be like, oh yeah, like you might not have exactly the experience, but I could teach you,
Right.
but
right.
like you have a good attitude. Like I can't teach that,
That's huge.
Yeah.
was
Like
gonna
that's
say.
what people would really like. Some people will look at me and be like, dude, you're crazy. Like, why are you doing that? Just like send it
Yeah.
on, like, but like a resume is just a piece of paper. It's just, it's just words.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know what
listen, you're talking to a couple of millennials, man. We know how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I got
How old
my
are you?
first job.
I'm 24.
You're 24.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And you've already got quite the laundry list of stuff for 24. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I would
it.
imagine though, like on a place like the Vineyard where there is the type of tourism and people that are there when it comes to those restaurants, you're dealing with people that do business that kind of way.
Yeah.
Where when they have someone coming in and putting in that initial effort, that's like, hey, let me be personable. Let me hand you a resume. Let me shake your hand. Let me show you what I can do and prove to you, rather than just like going on Indeed and just like shifting through resumes of
Yep.
people that are like, yes, I can cook. Yes, I can do that. But,
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
No,
So I
appreciate
think
it.
that's
It's a
one of
great,
those-
gritty way to get started.
Absolutely, because I think that's one of those things where, anybody can throw cooking experience on a piece of paper.
100%.
But I think when you show that personality, that drive, because like you said, how many people do they have really walking into a restaurant saying, "Hey, can I talk to the manager, the head chef? I'm trying to apply. I'm trying to work here."
Yep.
So it's like that says a lot because that's going to translate into the kitchen because you
Exactly.
work in the industry where like that stuff is important.
Yeah, it's hospitality. You know, it's making people happy, and you know, I was never really like wasn't like a super school savvy type of guy. Like, you know,
I was going to ask you that. So
Yeah.
you started at what time? So how old were you? You were
I was 15 years old when I
15.
started. Yeah. So it was like in my like freshman year of high school,
damn.
I started getting into the kitchen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Me too. That's funny.
The
The
seafood
kitchen cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I washed dishes. Next thing you know, I was on the grill because I was so good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, it was really cool. Like even especially like I've mentioned like a couple of times already, like the abundance of great seafood and stuff there. Like we used to have like great relationships with like, you know, like fishermen, like going out there, like really getting this stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, we would have like tuna on our menu, and these guys would come in like a pickup truck with like 400-pound tunas, like whole fish.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And like me and like three guys would have to like hoist it off the back of a truck, and we put it on this giant like cutting board. And me and the chef, like everyone would clean up and go home. But then he saw that I started like looking and like looking like I had interest in it. And he's like, "Hey, you want to stay back and like learn how to butcher a fish?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I'll do that. Like, it's like that's dope. You know, it's
absolutely.
just like that's a like you don't usually get that skill until like you're like years into
33 could never do it. I would butcher it, but not the way that you guys do it. I would butcher that.
You mangle it.
Yeah.
You mangle it.
That's the word.
That's funny. But yeah, it was just like a lot of like random cool skills that I've learned along the way that it's just like kind of like I wouldn't say like fell in my lap or whatever. It's like I was, you know, hungry for it, but
Yeah.
it's just like I feel like just me being at the perfect time and place kind of just made me who I am now, which I'm like super blessed up for all of it.
That's great. And now you're saying you didn't really grow up in a home that had a lot of that like foodie
Yep.
lifestyle. So then where did your inspiration come from? Like what really did it for you? Was there something that just randomly clicked, or you just woke up one day and you're like, I want to cook. I want to learn how to do this.
Well, I mean, I remember like I kind of just started it just to get a job at 1st.
Mhm.
Like I didn't go in with like an initial because I didn't grow up in that environment, you know, so I
Mhm.
didn't know that love and care for food yet. But then I just remember like just being so amazed with like seeing like how you can transform different products, and like, you know, the chef like who I was working for at the time, like who I consider like one of my main mentors. You know, he would just like throw a special on the menu like it was nothing. And I'd be like looking at this guy, I'm like, how do you come up with this shit?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do you know this and this and this are going to go together and like be good? And he just like looked over at me. He's like, I just make food that I'd like to eat. And I was like, well, you know, because everything was like super overwhelming and like made me feel like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or, you know what I mean? Because it's just like your mind just is always just like going. But then
Yeah.
he just simply said, like, I just cook food that I'd like to eat. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
sounds
that's
fun.
honestly
Like,
kind of interesting because if you think about in any industry, really,
yeah.
some of the most successful brands, whether that's
Yep.
like restaurant, even myself with social media, or anyone that's in the fashion industry
Or music.
or music industry, the reality is when you're just doing something that you enjoy, it comes through a lot more
It's organic.
organic,
Yeah.
authentic, and people tend to really, one of the things I say the most when I am trying to coach one of my clients when it comes to the social media stuff is if you just do something that is true to your brand, there is a corner of the internet for everyone.
For sure.
So you might think that you're alone and you're the only one, or there's only a few niche people. I'm like,
Yeah.
it may be niche by definition, but the reality is there's hundreds of thousands of people who enjoy the same exact thing that you do. You just have to go and find them.
Exactly.
So in that capacity, it's like, oh, well, I would like this. And you'd be surprised how many people would also like that.
yeah.
That's fascinating. I like to see that kind of translate into other
It's
industries.
super- It's super cool. And I love the creative side of it. Like I used to like always like to draw and like do things like I said, I wasn't super savvy in school, like when it came to like math or, you know, like just like silly things, but like a science project where I had to build like some like, you know, some presentation or whatever it was, like I would kill those. You know
Heck
what I
yeah.
mean? Just like little creative things like that. I was just like, so I knew I didn't want to go to college like in like the traditional route of just like, you know, not to like knock anyone's, you know, path or whatever it is. But for me personally, I knew if I were going to do that, I'm just going to like just be in debt and have some degree that's not going to do shit for me. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go there and party and have fun and just like not take it seriously. So I was like, what can I do instead? You know, so then when kids were still like trying to apply to go to like college and whatnot, like I was just like locked in focusing on the food. Ended up going to the culinary program at Boston University. which was like a cool, like kind of, it was a shorter program for sure than
Yeah.
like a 4-year degree, but it was still like a cool opportunity, and it kind of just like just gave me like something that I just wanted. I just wanted a diploma for like my own, like almost like I would say like maybe like my ego or whatever, you know? Like,
Yeah, of
I just
course.
wanted that for myself, like to be like, yeah, I did that. I paid for it all myself and all that type of stuff. So it was just like more of like a pride type of thing to be like, yeah, I did this, but you know, even in the midst of me like applying to do that, like all the guys in the kitchen, like, dude, you don't need to do that. Like you can learn so much day to day here.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean,
Which is-
hands-on training is the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean, they're not wrong, but it was like I said, it was just like something for me. I just wanted to do and have for myself.
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
You know
And
what
but
I mean?
I think the thing to note is that not everyone needs to go to college.
No.
College is a very useful tool, but if you're an individual who is kind of lost at sea and not quite sure what you want to do, you're like, I like this, this, and this.
Yep.
College is a great way to open up that door and avenue to a lot of different things. But if you're someone who's already honed in on something like this is what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
a certification is great because you don't need to learn Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You don't need to learn how to write paragraphs. You don't
Yeah.
need to go through that
Mhm.
same system. You don't need to be in debt over the same stuff you've been learning for the last 13 years
Yep.
through all of your adolescent and all these other schools. I say 13 because I was pretty bad and I was taking classes a little behind.
Algebra
that?
and geometry. Yeah, I got you.
Anyways, tough crowd over here tonight. Anyways, it's a victory Monday. We were at, I mean, this won't be, hopefully it's still a victory week for us when this actually comes out, but
Mm.
we were at the Patriots game yesterday. So
Okay.
we're all just a little bit slumped,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Apologies on that
I was
sense.
gonna say.
But okay, yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think it's great that you got a certification, and it's
Yep.
really good that you have that piece of paper to say like, yeah, I did it. But
Yep.
I think you got some other really cool things to say that you did it too. So why don't we jump in a
Get
little
into
bit
the
of your
next.
career and how it started to take off and how you got on to some TV series and
Yep.
stuff. I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, so with that, it was kind of something that I was thinking about, you know, talking with friends, family, and whatnot, for like a couple years leading up. But it was almost just like not, I feel like at that time in my life, you know, whatever I was going through and whatnot, just I don't feel like I had the confidence to really do that at that time. You know what I mean? Like that self-doubt and whatnot. But Angelia, who you guys have spoke to, like, you know, that's my girl. She's like super, super awesome, like super supportive. Like she's helped me like open up like almost like my third eye in a sense. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
kind
of
of
course.
like see myself outside of like step outside of myself and be like, you know, have a little bit more like respect and like pride and tech, you know, all that type of stuff for who I am and like what I bring to the table too, you know, which is like super cool. I feel like without like her egging me on to do that, I don't feel like I really would have, I might have never done it. You know what I mean? So I do give her a lot of props, but it was like a super, super cool experience. Like even the whole interview process and getting through and like waiting for that phone call to be like, yep, we're flying you out. We ended up going to Ireland to film it. You know, just so, well, I'm not going to keep, I guess, a secret anymore, but it was Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay. So it was season 4 of that. So I got a couple seasons before me that I studied up on before I went out there. It was a really dope experience. Like I would definitely do it again.
See, this is where the curiosity word comes in.
That's it.
I didn't know that it was in Ireland.
Yeah.
Now you've got my attention. Where in Ireland did you guys film?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember the little town. Like if I'm gonna be honest, when they took us off the plane, they had us like loaded up on this bus and they just like took us to a hotel. You know, like there was
and then
no
you was
like
right to filming. You didn't
it
even-
was like no like roaming around or anything like that. Like
Mm.
it was like, you know, even like leaving your hotel room to go to like the pool or whatever it was. They had like a little amenities in the hotel. Like you always had like have like an escort with you. So it was like very like, you know, that was like probably in a way of like, you know, like we're like they're obviously, you know, like we're obviously like their responsibility,
Mm.
you know, in a sense, like they got to be making sure that like we're not just gonna like go and like a walk in the woods and break our leg and then we can't film the show.
Come on, let
anymore.
them live a little.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was tough. It was tough. Like that was the one thing that was like a little like tough about it. I feel like any show like they do it or it might even be worse. But like I mean the whole production crew who was on duty for that, like they were like super cool people. So like they made it as good as they could. But
Yeah.
it was just like tough going from like everyday life having freedom and then having no freedom.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like your whole day is blocked out with like scheduling and whatnot. But like the whole experience of like, you know, I've said this to like plenty of people like when I came back, but the coolest part for me about going on the show was like meeting like 27 different people who are like
Mhm.
just like me in a way. Like
Yeah.
all have like, just like an immense passion for food. They all had like dope personalities, like just like cool people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not like any like weirdos or anything like that. It's just like cool people who can throw down some good food. I was just like, this is my group.
Yeah.
You know, it's like these guys are dope.
At first, you didn't think that though.
What? With the show?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You were kind of going in there like, I'm kicking ass and taking names.
Well, I did because I saw how, like I said, like I had 3 other seasons before me, so I saw like weaknesses that other people's had, like, you know what I mean, like just like not to say I saw the whole behind the scenes of like whatever happened after filming, but just like people like buddying up or whatever it is, or overthinking somebody else's stuff. I was just going in there like, I'm not making no friends. I'm going in there to to win this.
Spoken like a true New Englander.
Yeah.
Putting going into winning. That's it.
100%.
And how old are you when you did this?
I was 22.
You're 22. So this was only 2 years ago now.
Exactly.
And how long was filming for you?
It was a whole month.
It was a whole month you were there. Okay.
And the toughest part about doing that at that time was the my baby was like just born, like literally like 2, maybe 3 weeks old. Like no, like she was like almost 3 weeks old. Like when I went out there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And like I almost said no to that. I wrote this whole email about like consider me for future things, because I was like, this is my first kid. Like I can't miss the birth of my my little girl. You know what I mean? It was just like so many thoughts. But then you got to think like this is a crazy opportunity. Like who even gets this opportunity? Like I've had people like friends in my life or whatever who've applied for a TV show, never heard back. You know what I mean? It's like doesn't matter if you're good or you're not or whatever. It's just like there's thousands of people who are trying to like get that spot. Right. So the fact that I got the spot, I was like, this is like maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity. I might not be lucky again. Right.
And it opens up doors and opportunities so that you can be there for your daughter too. So it's 100%. One thing to consider. But
no, it's true.
All right. I think the one thing that I would love to do is kind of pull back the curtain on like the actual experience of these cooking shows. Cause obviously reality TV kind of falls in that category in a sense. Yeah. And I feel like not everyone gets a full perspective of like how long the filming days actually are, how many takes it is, and also how lively the cooking is. And, is everything as it seems on TV? Yep. I'm sure that there's some paperwork you've signed that can only give you so much discretion, but I'd love to hear as much as you're able and willing to share. I'm
willing at this point. I mean, like I'm able at this point to share a decent amount.
All right. Tell us all the dirty shit. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Yeah. So as far as like what it looks like on the screen, like from like your guys' point of view, it's like the actual cooking is live. Like that's not like, they're not like cut. All right, run it back.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like the only
when
thing
there's like time constraints and stuff, that's legit.
That's all like real time. The only thing is, so like you'll line up, you'll run to the platform, gather a bunch of your ingredients, and then you go back to your little station, and then they'll call cut for a second, and this little team will come in like within a minute and a half. Like they're so fast, and they gather all your stuff and they take a picture. It's like a whole group of them. They'll just like flood and just bum rush the whole room, and they'll just put all your stuff together, take a picture, so then the interviewers later can know exactly what you grabbed, so then they can be like, oh, did you mean to grab this? Did this like lemon help your dish, or you know what I mean? So whatever it might be. So like you have a minute after you grab your ingredients to like come up with an idea, and then they're like, all right guys, the time starts now. And sometimes you might be the first person the judge picks, and is like, Gordon might just come up to you and be like, all right Ryan, what are you making? And I've had this pile of ingredients in front of me for a minute and a half, and I'm like,
I always wondered that.
But then you don't want to like look like a fool and be like, you got to come up with something, so
like pig ears. I can't I didn't know that was edible. 1, 2. I didn't know. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm confused. I got to ask him about this, and that's so we'll get to that. But you only get that 1 minute. So there's like, when you're grabbing these ingredients, are you going in your mind like, I'm going to start here, then go here, here, and here? Or
I always, and they even encourage you to do this as well, because like protein wise, there's enough proteins for everybody on the platform, but then there's like obviously an abundance of whatever else is on there, but it's 1 protein per person. So you always grab your protein and then you work your dish around said protein. But like you can't go in there with like recipes in your head or whatever, because like there's even times that like I think I grabbed like, I don't even know what it was. It was either like fish or veal or something like that. And I grabbed it, and then I looked over and I was like, oh, there was like an item for like, a sauce that I wanted to make, because I had a couple other things. And as I'm going to grab, like, I think it was like rosemary or something, someone snatches the bunch, so then you got to like pivot and like be like, okay, next gotcha. Idea. It's like, you can't go in there and be like, oh, like I need this to make this dish. It's like, you got to know kind of how flavors work, throw them together and make it happen. type
No
of thing.
kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Balance.
It was extremely stressful, and especially going in as like labeling myself as like a professional chef, working in the industry. Like I didn't obviously want to go in there and make a fool of myself, so it's like there was a lot of pressure on that, obviously pressure of me leaving, my family, with obviously the baby and whatnot and wanting to make them proud and myself proud, was trying to come home with some money.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Like that was like the main goal. So, yeah, there was definitely a lot going through your head, at all times.
I can imagine.
Let's see if we can't try and get a little bit of a cult following here. Explain the show to people who haven't seen it so that you can kind of go through because obviously people are thinking about Hell's Kitchen. So what's the best way to get someone into understand the show itself and how it's laid out and how the competition series of it goes and how a winner's chosen, what the prizes are, go through that whole thing.
I mean, I think the preface of Next Level Chef is pretty sick. So it's like the whole vibe of it is you're cooking in a tower. So there's 3 tiers of kitchens. Like the top tier is what they consider the Michelin star kitchen, decked out with the best of the best equipment, knives, cutting boards, appliances and whatnot. Then the middle floor is what you'd see in any regular restaurant commercial style kitchen. Has everything there. Everything's workable. It's nothing's super fancy, but everything's you can make some good stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Then the basement kitchen is
the cellar.
Yeah, the cellar. Exactly. Exactly. So, even my first time cooking down there, I grabbed a pasta strainer that had pasta in it. You know what I mean? That had pre-cooked pasta because it was make a family meal type of thing. Because in the kitchen, we have this thing, it's staff meal or family meal. So when we had our first cook of the auditions, they call it, to get into the real competition, they were that was the first challenge is make a good tasting family meal style type of dish. Nothing too fancy, nothing like that, but just good hearty meal.
And what'd you make?
I think I made a bolognese or a ragu. I think I made ragu, like a pasta ragu with lamb. Which is I had lamb scraps. That's what I had. I had just bits and pieces of just trimmings of lamb that I like. And
what I'm hearing is an upscale American chop suey is kind of what I'm hearing you say right now, which is very New England, and I love that for us.
Oh yeah, dude, it was definitely
you're representing us well.
100%. No, definitely. But even picking up that pasta, the pasta strainer had a giant burn hole in the side of it. So I'm picking it up off the platform, half the pasta falls on the ground. I'm catching it. I'm what the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just
random hoops to jump through.
Yeah, just out the gate. Another time I'm cooking down there, I'm trying to make cornbread because they had a mid-round challenge for this southern style thing that they wanted us to do. They're yeah, make a southern dish, and they're in the middle of it, they're surprise, we need you to make cornbread, and we're okay, cool. The oven down there is a piece of shit, leaks. Does it it might be 400 degrees, but it's definitely not.
Are you in my apartment? Is that what's happening right now? It sounds like you were cooking in my basement.
That's funny as hell. But
that's great.
Yeah, the cornbread didn't even cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I ended up just having to take a little bit of the leftover batter I had, and I made hush puppies out of it. You know what I mean? And I still made the challenge. I just fried them. So it's just like little things like that. It's just constant having to pivot and think and just make it happen.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
That's great. Okay. And then are there how many judges are there?
So there's 3 judges. Yeah. So, out of the 3 judges, obviously Gordon Ramsay.
Who?
Gordon Ramsay.
I'm just
Never heard of him.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, so it's Gordon Ramsay, it's Naisha Arrington, and then there's Richard Blaze.
Okay.
So Richard Blaze and Naisha and Richard have a pretty interesting story. Obviously, everyone knows Gordon Ramsay. If you don't even know what food is, you know who that guy is.
Yeah, he's the guy that's in the
100%.
back of that young girl that's a cook's TikTok. She makes TikToks and her dad comes in and he's yelling all the time, right? Guy with the blonde hair.
Yeah, exactly.
You're an idiot sandwich. That's what you are right now.
That's funny. But yeah, so Naisha, she was on I'm pretty sure it was Master Chef or Top Chef. It was one of the 2, I forget.
Master Chef, Top Chef. How many are there?
There's
Too many.
too
But
many
this is the new one.
This is the new one.
Especially season 4. It's the best one.
Yeah.
Everyone's raving about it.
Yeah, no, everyone was raving about that one. It was really
Love
dope. I wanted it last season. They dropped the premiere right after the Super Bowl, which obviously got 8 million views plus, because everyone's TV was on.
Right.
They didn't do that this year, but it still did get obviously millions of views. So it still it did show that the show is catching on and people are starting to like it and more obviously. And then they got approved for another 2 more seasons. So it's gonna be 5 to 6 coming soon.
I was gonna say, and now our generation, you can, if you find a show you like,
Yeah.
you can go watch it. and find the earlier seasons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've
Stream
done
it.
that for a few shows.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely something
Yeah.
to look forward to,
And it's-
Absolutely.
especially season 4.
Right. Exactly. But even from what it started as a season 1 to like what it is now, like the show is still like evolving even more and more. You know what I mean? It's like it's cool. Like I thought it was pretty surreal to be there because I like I said, I studied that show and like where people stood and what the best station was to cook on, like close to the like just like little mini things, you know, just to like help my game out as much as I could. And yeah, it was pretty surreal to like be like going up the little elevator and being in the kitchen and obviously like being picked by Gordon Ramsay himself and like
Right.
put on his team and working with him for like a month, like, you know,
So
in the
it's
show.
teams. That's how
Okay.
the show is laid out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sorry.
it's-
You had the 3 judges, but
So you start out with 24 people. They come in.
Okay.
We do these things called the audition. So there's 3 categories. There's a professional chef category. There's the home cooks, and then there's social media cooks. So like, yeah. So
There we go.
so
social media cook right there.
Yeah.
Say, oh, I see what you're doing. I got it. I missed, that one went right over my head.
Just
Yeah.
Chef Jens. What do you
No,
mean?
yeah, Chef
You're
Jens.
always hashtagging Chef Jens.
As
What would
New
you
England.
be?
Me?
Yeah. Professional chef? I'm the home cook guy. Because I just put together like these big,
Yeah, I'd be
big heavy
professional.
meals. That's like how my mom cooks.
I'd be in there with tweezers, fucking putting this.
Yeah, right. What a load of shit. I've never seen you cook before. Have you
Because
cooked
your
before?
fucking palate sucks.
You just don't cook for me?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I'm more of a baker now. What would you say was the hardest thing to learn growing up?
Probably learning how to like use, save, or spend money.
You legit worked in banking, did you not?
You're welcome.
Are you still with Dime Bank or are you too Hollywood now?
Okay, rude, but yes. Yes, I am.
Imagine your followers finding out you're with a Connecticut-based bank.
Okay, first of all, they have a branch in Wesley, Rhode Island, which is where we grew up. So really, that's brownie points because I'm sticking to my roots. Second, I think everyone would appreciate that I'm with a bank that knows and understands their community. Their tagline is legit, community banking lives here.
Hey, I'm not asking you to sell me on it. I've been banking with them for years, and they know me on a first-name basis. I'm just saying I'm surprised is all. I can see the headlines now. Mr. Anti-Connecticut actually banks with local community bank?
Okay, you know what? Follow along with me here. They're FDIC insured, equal housing lenders, wicked friendly. They take care of all my personal needs, have expansive products to help all my businesses, offer lending across the board, merchant services. What more could I possibly want or need? And you know that I secretly like Connecticut, so
Oh, I hope you heard that, folks. Dime Bank is the reason Ian loves Connecticut.
okay, you're ridiculous. Funny story though. You know how they have like the mobile app with
Yep.
like banking, Lifesaver, you can do all the deposits. Have you tried to teach your mom how to do the mobile deposit
No.
yet? I was teaching my mom how to do it, and she takes a selfie instead of
No.
the check. Visit dimebank.com to learn more. Okay, so explain to me how this show is actually set up in the challenge, like how you're on teams.
from the jump, 24 people come in, you do
Yep.
the auditions with the 3 categories. There's 8 people in each category. Of those 8 people, you'll cook on each floor, make your way to the top until there's top 5 of each category. And those 15 individuals will then go into like the big common room and then they'll get picked by, the mentors.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So then like 5 people per team and then dwindles it down until obviously the one winner.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And,
but it's
and
like you can
it's
go
one
home.
winner on the team.
No, it's
itself?
one winner for the entire show.
Oh,
Like there's one person that walks away with all that money.
gotcha.
So
And the
Gordon,
title.
Chef Ramsay,
Mm.
was the coach of what
Ooh.
team?
So
Is that how it works?
well, yeah. So they're like I said, there's Gordon, there's Naisha,
Yep.
and then there's Richard. They're each like mentors, they call them, or the coach. You know what I mean, of the team. So like obviously like Gordon had me.
Hell yeah.
He had me on his team, and he had like 4 other individuals. Like one girl ended up having to like go home like abruptly because she had like some medical issue or whatever. So
Oh,
it's like
geez, that
it kind of
sucks.
like threw off the ratios of the teams of like how they were supposed to like naturally dwindle down. So like we were like 1 down. Like it was like if you got to watch it back because like
Yeah.
there was
I'm
there
checking
was one
this out.
challenge that I'll spoil because I was super proud of that one. That we had to cook a 5-course menu. And the mentors cooked the dessert. So then there was like 4 other dishes that need to be made. So then we were obviously down that one person. So then I ended up cooking 2 dishes
Mm.
in the same time that everyone was just cooking their one.
Wow.
And then my
flex.
team won that that challenge. And
Hell
we were,
yeah.
Because you're from New England, you can be
Hell
trusted
yeah.
with
and
those
it was
kind of
both.
tasks.
It was like both seafood dishes. I did like a scallop appetizer
Oh.
style dish,
Oh,
and then
nice.
I did like a salmon with like a fennel puree and
Yep.
bunch of.
I was gonna ask you about the puree. That
Yeah,
sounds perfect for that dish.
It was,
That is, you don't know what he's
I
saying.
love puree. It's the
Stop
best.
purees.
That's just
Puree.
fancy sauce. You know, he loves sauce.
Yeah, I know. I
He
love
does-
sauce.
he
I
does
just
love a
don't
good
call
sauce.
it puree because
He's like,
I'm
"Get-
uncultured.
I'll take a bottle of puree, please.
Yeah. I mean, a chef that I used to work for is like, he used to tell me, he'd be like, when in doubt, just puree it. You know, it's like, you don't know what to do with it, just puree it.
Just
I
puree it.
literally
right?
say that to you all the time.
Yeah,
So, back to the show.
just puree it.
Yeah,
Just
just
puree.
puree it.
Love it. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Okay, so then how did the teams get selected though?
The mentors picked.
After what level? When you were in the regular kitchen or the
So
Michelin
after
kitchen?
you got to the top 5, there'll be like 5 professionals, 5 home cooks, 5 social medias.
Oh,
and then
okay.
all those 15 individuals go into a big room, and then the mentors stand behind like their little whatever you want to call it, like table or whatever.
Gotcha.
And then they pick like.
So
you
you're
know.
graded like after all of your dishes. You're kind of like you're kind of a home cook person, and you're like a Michelin.
No, you go. They bring you in the show as such. Like
Oh,
like that's like
okay,
kind of like
gotcha.
your identity.
So
as-
then where did you start?
What do you mean?
Where like what was your identity? What was your
So
level?
I came in as a professional chef,
Wow.
like because I've been working.
Hell
in the
yeah.
Hell
industry.
yeah, gang shit.
You gotta
Yeah,
listen,
boy.
man.
Yeah.
You're a professional chef.
Yeah.
I'm a podcaster. I need you to really explain this
Yeah.
to me. So I know you're like, what do you? I've said
Dumb
this
it
like
down.
9 times.
No,
I
you're
get.
good.
Yeah.
You're
I'm gonna
totally
ask
good.
a lot of questions like
You're
that.
fine.
My bad.
Like the puree sauce thing. That
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just it. Put it.
Just so we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Level with us
Yeah,
here.
no, I got you. I got you.
Okay, so the competition starts off the rep that you're already on this team.
That sounds so
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Okay, I'm
But
starting
you,
to get it.
you could like the thing is like with this whole audition thing, like as you're making your way up,
Yeah.
like you could get kicked off like episode 1.
Oh, okay.
So like within the audition before the like they call it the audition before the actual real show starts, but this is all on camera. So like,
okay, so the audition was on camera.
the audition's a part
all
of the
right,
show.
so all right, that's what I was thinking before. All right.
Yes, yeah, the
with
audition's a
it.
part of the show. So, but you could get like you could fly out to Ireland, you could do this whole interviewing process and all that stuff to get there to just fuck up that day.
Yeah.
and then you're back on a plane home. You know what
Damn.
I mean? So it's like a lot of pressure,
Any
and it's
rea-
embarrassing.
I was gonna say any reality TV show I've ever seen. I would say the first 2 people.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in this setting it's a little different, but I'm always like, I couldn't imagine being one of the first. Like
Like,
one
that
or
just
2.
sucks,
That's
dude.
wild.
That sucks, dude.
I think about that in the sense of like the American Ninja Warrior.
Mm.
I was
that's
like, I
totally
would be the
different.
first person out. There's no way.
Yeah, that makes
I would
sense.
fall.
That makes sense.
You'd
I'd
be in
rather
the
be on.
water.
I'd rather be on the Wipeout show rather than
Yeah,
You
that
could
was
do
a funny
that.
one.
that was a funny one. That was
So
a
how
super
far
funny one.
did your team make it?
So
Or do we not want to spoil it? We want to get people to go watch to see what happens.
so you have your teams, right? And then like you play as a team into a certain point of the competition, and
Okay.
then at a certain point, then you all become individuals.
Gotcha.
And that's how they dwindle it down to that solid one person who wins.
And were you top
I was-
3?
I was there's only 2 episodes that I'm not on. So
Oh.
I was there
Hey.
for damn near the entire thing.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
You know.
And what when you have the time to reflect on it, what do you think about as far as like not getting across the finish line the way that you maybe had hoped?
Yep.
What was it that kind of did it for you? And have you reflected on it and said like, this is what I need to do, I should have done? Or is it kind of just like
I mean, I feel like
they're just judges and that was just their taste that night?
no, I mean like I definitely I definitely want to put it was just their taste that night. Right?
I mean, listen,
It's
these
their
are
fault.
subjective things
their
as far as
fault.
I'm concerned.
No,
I mean, they might be judges, but I'm also like, anytime I see this, I'm like, well, that looks, I mean, I don't know
mean,
what
you're
they're
not wrong,
talking
like,
about.
I was gonna
It's-
say,
it's
take
really-
your palate and it's the complete opposite, and that's their.
I mean,
Doesn't mean I don't know what good food tastes like.
I mean, your fate definitely lies in their opinion of what good food is.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? But they obviously like, I feel like they take different things into account. You know, obviously like they know like depending on if you're a professional chef, home chef or whatnot, like they don't, I wouldn't say like, if you're a home cook, for example, and you put up something that's like they're not going to just like let you slide by, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they'll, cause then there's elimination cooks too. Like the 2 people who make the worst dish, they go head to head. And then that person goes home, and that's how like every episode goes.
Oh,
So every
gotcha.
episode, someone goes home.
And so this was over a month. So every day you were cooking and doing
5 days a week.
5 days a week, and you had the weekends off.
I had 5 days a week. We did competitions. Saturdays was straight interview days. Like we'd sit in like a little like
call
trailer.
back. Yeah.
And yeah, we'd do all these like they'd be like, "Hey, remember you did this like last week? Like, can you act like you're in like present, like like speak like it didn't already happen or it's about to happen?" Like those kind of things were a little bit confusing.
Isn't that kind of cool how that works? Movie
Yeah, it is
industry,
cool.
the
Like
TV
how
industry.
they put it back together and like put the puzzle pieces back. Yeah, I thought it was cool, but it definitely was like a little bit of a mind fuck, like because you're like, I already know what happened.
Yeah.
Like, we already lived this.
right.
But then like you gotta like. It's not just like saying, you like kind of bring that emotion and whatever it might be, or, like, oh, I'm worried I might go home. But like, you obviously know you didn't go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like things like that. You know what I mean? But it's just like little things. But I thought it was cool. But
Yeah.
I thought
I
it was
mean,
cool.
coming from the acting world, I think that's a lot of stuff that people don't get the opportunity to see. And
Yeah.
that's like going back and doing the B-roll footage. And what's really cool about social media now is a lot of people are catching continuity issues where like someone will be talking about it. And then like 20 minutes later, they like won't have their makeup on. Their hair will be different. The guy's beard is like grown out when it wasn't in the scene. And you're like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of funny that's coming through. And then it's like a total shift and shock for you. So fun.
100%.
How fun.
100%.
Cool.
Now, let me ask you.
Mm.
I probably should say this for the So New England segment, but I'm going to go for it now since we're on the topic. If you were on the show
Mhm.
and the topic of what you had to cook was like a dish from your home, from your region. So if they were like, Gordon's like, all right, we need a dish that's like New England inspired. What are you cooking?
New England inspired dish.
Let me get ready for this because I'm gonna enjoy it.
Let me get ready for this. I mean, for me, like even a dinner that I did recently that I was just like kind of representing all of New England in that menu. This is like kind of a little bit more of like a heartier dish, but in a sense, but I like to make a really good cipino. You guys know what cipino is?
Yes, absolutely. But
Yeah,
if you don't mind,
for
if you
our
could just like,
audience.
we know, but if
Yeah.
you could explain it as if like the
Yeah.
people listening
Yeah.
or watching,
Yeah.
Vin definitely
don't-
doesn't know.
they don't know
Vin.
they don't know what a cipino is. So
Yeah,
if you don't
that.
mind, chipani actually is the way you're supposed to say it. I'll let it slide. But
Yeah.
if you could explain a chipatchet,
Chipachet.
whatever,
Yeah,
what
that-
you
that
said,
thing, yeah.
French, right?
Yeah, no, it's Italian.
That's what I said. Italian.
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
So
cool, if you don't
it's
mind.
like the origins of this is like, back in Italy, like when like they would go out and catch a bunch of fish, like seafood, whatever it was, shellfish, whatnot. At the end of like, their long harvest week, and they would have like stuff left over from the market instead of like throwing it away or whatnot. Like they'd make this big like seafood stew. And it's like got like tomatoes and like, like spices and different things like that in there to kind of just like give it like some depth and a little bit of like, but it's just like kind of like a medley of just like a bunch of like leftover seafood in a way. But you can obviously elevate on that and not make it like scraps and whatnot. You can make it like fancier, you know what I mean?
Okay,
So
cool.
it's like,
So it's like fish carcasses?
No,
Soup
it's-
right now? Is that what you're saying to me? I'll be honest with you. I'm not sold on the chip and cheese.
no, the chip and cheese. No, but I like to make that. That's like something that like I feel like speaks New England to me. And like I like fire roasted tomatoes. We'll get them from like, a local farm, and like fire char them, so you have that like, smokiness into the soup, and like add a little bit of spice in there as well. And then like, I'll put like either like snow or like Jonah crab or a fucking shrimp, scallops, like
Now we're
whatever type
talking,
of like
yeah.
white fish, maybe like cod, hake,
Yep.
like something like that. Just like it's really whatever you want it to be. Like I even did the one that I just did that people really liked. I did the fire roasted with like the Jonah crab in there, shrimp, and then I also like smoked some mussels like overnight, like low and slow. Smoked them overnight, and people love that.
That
Hell
sounds
yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
That's a chipachi, in
That's
case
a
you guys didn't know.
That's a chip and cheese.
There
No
you
need
go.
to Google it because we got it on the So New England pod.
Yes,
there
you
you
go.
go.
If you guys didn't know that, So New England Podcast, officially some Chippendales cookers.
Yep.
I got that correct, right?
Yes, you did.
It's a great dish from the mills of Mount Tibidabo in Italy.
Yeah, there we go.
So outside of your favorite New England style dishes,
Yeah.
do you have a comfort dish that, after a long day or maybe, you just like your comfort food style dish that you just love to make?
I mean, for me, like I love making homemade pasta at home. Like I make homemade pasta for me and my family like all the time.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? Like just all different types, like stuffed pastas, whatever it is, like fettuccine, pappardelle, like, rigatonis, like whatever it might be. Like I just love the taste of fresh homemade pasta. You know, like I
It's
can't
unmatched.
you can't
can't.
like once I first had it in the restaurant years ago, I was like, and then I had box stuff obviously after that. I was just like, this shit's trash. You know, it's just it's not good. It's not good.
Certainly not as good.
That's
No.
all.
My only other question to you is, I would love to kind of know what the experience was for you being a New Englander and then being able to not only travel, but like be on a television show. And I'm more importantly, like, you know, elephant in the room, you got to work with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It was-
from someone who was like, I just started when I was 15. I wasn't, you know, I went and I was like, yeah, I got the certification. As you said, you're definitely very humble in the sense of what you've accomplished so far for only 24. But I'd love to know kind of what that felt like for you and how you've been kind of handling it since then and knowing that you've accomplished something so cool.
Yeah, I mean, like even while I was still there and I would get back to the hotel room and I would call like my family or whatever, like tell them about the day and whatnot. It was like, it just like, it still doesn't feel real. And like, it's like, it's hard to explain. Like even watching myself on the show, when the show finally came out, I'm sitting there like watching myself on TV. It's like, that doesn't feel like me. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know why, but it's like, that's just kind of like the little weird feeling. But you know, even like besides the show, like when I, you know, because at the time when I was on the show, I was living in Los Angeles. So
Gotcha,
yeah, so
okay.
I was out there for like 3 years, almost 4 years. at
Oh,
the
wow,
time.
okay.
Yeah, so like I yeah.
Little Easter egg that we missed there in your little story, pal. You lived in LA. How do you just not tell us that?
I know, I forgot that. I forgot about that. But yeah, so then I got the opportunity, you know, from the show to move back to Boston. And then since then, you know, I've, you know, seen Gordon in the city a couple times, which was like really cool. Like really awesome. Cause like besides all the TV stuff and like seeing him yelling and screaming and whatnot, like he wasn't that like person on this show. Like that's like not the persona he plays, but like in real life, he's like a super humble, awesome, really like down to earth kind of guy, like very family oriented, like just good people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So, which I feel like people would be surprised to hear because some people just see him like screaming, yelling, throwing fish across the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
the clickbait stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
And
Like,
it's TV, you know,
Yeah.
and like that's what the whole preface of that show is like you're
Right.
coming in to his kitchen, working for him to win a spot to be a head chef at one of his restaurants. You know what I mean? So it's like he's your boss in a sense, you know, like on the show on Hell's Kitchen, for example. But on Next Level Chef, like I've said before, like he's like they call them mentors or like coaches. So like they want you to win. They try to like push the best out of you that is possible. They're not trying to have you second guess yourself or beat you up. You know what I mean? Like if you do step out of line in some ways, like I've seen him say a couple things to some people, like even on my season, which I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there was like one girl who was like, chef, could you grab me this? Like as like she's like cooking and stuff like that, and he's helping another person on the team. He's like, yeah, give me a minute. He's like, how about I stick a broom up my ass and run along? Like something like that. Like just like little funny shit. And his British accent, and I'm just like, oh man. And then like someone else said another thing, like pass me this or whatever. And he's just like, I'm your mentor, not your bitch. And I was just like, oh shit. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But it's just like little things like that. It's just like, he still is like, you got like, what are you asking me? Like, don't ask me for shit.
Yeah.
Like go get running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is not what
This is my show. I'm
Yeah.
not here to like, I'm here to mentor you, not
Yeah.
like do it for you.
No, exactly. So like there was funny little things that he did, but yeah, it was super cool.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And what's your biggest takeaway from the show overall, like the experience?
I feel like it did give me a lot more confidence in myself than I knew I had. You know, like I definitely, I feel like everyone has that like little voice in their head at times that like is self-doubt and whatnot, but it's like to see myself like do the whole interview process, make it on the show, do really well on the show, make myself really proud. A lot of people have reached out to me from the Boston area who were like rooting for me on the show or like all New England, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
it was
Hell
it
yeah.
was super cool to see like people like from out in like my area and whatever like rooting for me and like wanting me to win. You know, like the restaurant I work at now is called Pammy's and it's in Cambridge. It's like a really cool like just like it's a family owned restaurant. And we work with like some really top notch ingredients over there. But I've even had fans of me from the show come to Pammy's to eat dinner and like ask for me to come out and whatnot and just to meet me.
Reservation for 3, pal.
Yeah.
Count us in.
Yeah,
we'll
that'd
be
be
there
awesome. No.
for the chickpeas. I'd love to try that. What? Did I say it wrong again?
No, that's I thought that's
Okay.
I know
The
what you
chicken
meant.
piece.
Extra
You fire up
puree
the chicken
for
No,
piece
me.
that'd be
for us.
awesome if y'all came to Pammy's. Like, you guys would love it.
Absolutely.
Like the menu over there changes like pretty. I wouldn't say like all the time, but like it definitely changes like throughout the seasons. Maybe a couple times through in the season too. If the chef owner over there just feels like throwing something else new on, which is like really cool to see. Just like working with new stuff all the time, like coming up with new ideas. New techniques and stuff. Like I've learned a lot even being over there, which is like really cool. Like working with ingredients that like I've never even heard of, which is like surprising to me. Like not to think like I don't think I know everything or whatever else, but it's like I've worked in a good handful of restaurants, so I've seen a lot. But like to come still like like pretty much a decade that I've been working in the kitchen now. Like obviously still learning. Like that's the thing that I kind of love about being a chef and being in the kitchen. The most is like that you never stop learning. You know what I mean? It never
Absolutely.
gets just like boring or whatever. Like you can still always find something new. Even if you make a dish great, you can always make it better. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that like drive to perfection, as close to perfection as possible, which is like really fun.
Love that.
Really fun.
Do you find yourself having like New England inspiration in how you decide to cook?
I
Like in
feel
the sense that like we're kind of like a seafoody community in a way.
I'm huge into seafood. Like I love seafood.
Yeah, I love like the story you're talking about going out with your grandfather. You said
Yep.
right where you're on the boat and you're
Yep.
that's I thought of that and I was like, wow, this is gonna be. I would imagine that there's got to be a lot of inspiration there.
Oh yeah. Like I love good seafood, and like I said, like even in those memories, just like grilling on the back of the boat, a little salt and lemon, like just so simple, but like so delicious and so fresh. Like just those things. It's like you don't need to, and that's another thing that I've like kind of remembered even in myself, because over the years of especially still being young too, like all the information that's like kind of been dumped into my brain of like techniques and different things like that, like you kind of like almost want to like overachieve at times and like just do too much, but then it makes like it's almost like a painting. Like instead of just it being like nice and elegant, it's like it almost makes it like kind of like muddy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the flavors aren't like very like bold anymore, because like you're just adding shit on top of shit on top of shit. You know what I mean? It's like it still tastes good, but it's like you could probably take like 5 of those elements out of that and then just have it be what it is, and it'd be delicious. If it's just like fresh, good, delicious food, like you don't need to like doctor it up with like all these fancy little sauces and whatever the hell. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Just do a couple like clean, easy techniques and just have the food like speak for itself. You know what I mean? Which is like, I think like that's why a chef that I used to work for used to be like simplicity is key.
And how many chefs have you worked for now?
I mean, from, being out here on the East Coast and then obviously moving out to the West Coast. Like I've worked for definitely a handful of chefs, that, all have a lot of passion for what they've done and different walks of life and different inspirations on their own. So it's like kind of just cool to see, what people get out of doing this every day. Like it's we're all doing the same thing. Like we're all cooking food. We're all trying to make people happy. It's hospitality industry, but it's like people can all like find their own way of getting to that end goal. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's not just like we're a bunch of like sim characters or something, just
Yeah.
like walking in line. It's just like we all have our own way, our own path. That's what I'm looking for, which is like really cool.
And I would imagine that there's going to be a lot of different experiences and learning that occurs when you are working with a chef from the East Coast versus the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about the West Coast because you kind of just breezed over that. But
I know.
what brought you out to LA? Were you cooking out there?
So I was cooking out there. So like I've always been cooking. I had like a couple of my buddies I grew up with, like we used to like make music and stuff. Like we used to like
Gotcha.
I used to like live out in Lowell. So we used to like make music out there. One of my good friends, like he ended up getting an opportunity, like kind of got like signed to this like smaller record label out in LA. And he moved out there like ahead of us. And then I was getting into videography at the time because there was a dude who like kind of had a partnership in the studio space that we like worked in, that he used to do videography. And like I used to just like go there after work and like hang out with them and whatnot. But then like he was like, "Hey, you want to like help me out? Like I'll pay you some money if you come help me like shoot this video. Where I need an extra pair of hands for like lighting and whatnot." And I was like, "Yeah, like why not?"
Yeah.
And then like I kind of got into it and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I could do this, you know what I mean? It's like I didn't never had like a want or anything. Kind of just like came to me. It was just like, yeah. Like, but I was like, this is cool. Like
Gotta try it, right?
yeah, why not? So I was still cooking, obviously, but then doing music video stuff on the side. And then my buddy who moved out to LA, that same like little management company that he was working with in were like, hey, we need a videographer. And he's like, oh, my buddy, he does this. And I had a whole camera set and gimbal and all that stuff and whatnot. So moved out there, sold my car and like all my stuff and just moved out to Los Angeles. And like me and him lived in like this little apartment together for some time until some things fell through with that whole, like working with that particular group of people that we went out there for, which is totally fine.
Things happen,
Yeah, things happen, exactly. But then
so you weren't cooking out there though?
I was still cooking.
Oh, you
out
were
there.
still cooking. So you're working in a restaurant as well.
I was working in a restaurant that was like a kind of like a Mediterranean almost like Mediterranean style restaurant. The really cool part about this one that I liked, it was like everything was cooked on like an open flame. So there was no gas. And like there was gas burners in the back for like big stock pots and whatnot, obviously. But like all your food would be cooked on like an open flame. You know what I mean?
That's sweet.
It was badass. It was badass. It was like it was obviously a lot more work to like, you know, get the fire ready, do all that stuff, and like, you know, just manage that throughout the whole night. It's not like just like turning a knob and, you know, even
it's right there.
Cooking's hard as it is, but that just made it a little bit harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was a really, really cool skill to learn. Like how to like manipulate food with fire. You know what I mean? Like it was sick. It was
No
sick.
kidding.
Yeah.
So bring us now. You've gone through all of these experiences. You've learned from so many different chefs. Now let's get you to present day. What do you got going on with your cooking now? You said you're working at Pammy's, right?
Yeah. Pammy's.
And then you're also doing some private chef stuff, correct?
Yeah. So my whole goal, you know, coming out of the show and whatnot was to definitely, you know, kind of like skyrocket my own like private chef business, which has like been doing really great. Like throughout the summer, even this past summer, you know, was doing a lot of traveling, going across the country, you know, working with
you're traveling to do it too.
Yeah, I was traveling to do it. Yeah. Which was like really awesome because some of the people that I was on the show with also are involved in whatnot. Like even I think it was in June or July. It was in June. No, July. Went out to Chicago and did like a big event for like NASCAR. Like they had a whole NASCAR. I don't know if you guys heard about that. It was like they shut down a lot of the streets in the city of Chicago and they turn into a whole NASCAR track.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That was really
sick.
cool.
So then they have like obviously like vendors everywhere, but then they have like the VIP section where like we got a booth in there. So then we were just like slinging up like big asada ribs and like things like that. It was just like it was cool. It was fun. Lot of work. We were like up that night for the past like 2 nights that we were doing it. Before the event, we were up till like 5 o'clock in the morning the first night. Then the next day we pulled an all-nighter, didn't sleep at all. We're just like in the prep kitchen, like prepping all night long. I went and got us some beers. We were just like drinking a couple beers, prepping all night long. Then like slept in the little prep area.
Yeah.
And then just like went down the street in the morning to like offload all the food. And then we went back home. I took a nap. I was like, I gotta take a nap. Like, this is a lot, dude. You know what I mean? Like we've been up for like 48 hours damn near already. So yeah, it was a lot, but it was
grind,
fun.
baby.
Yeah, no, it is. It is all about the grind. I think it builds character.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I did that.
Well, as they say, success is a journey, not a destination.
100%.
I heard that somewhere once. I
I
think it was on the side of a stripper, but
I read it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
oh shit! Wait a minute. He's got it tattooed on his ribs. It's
Cut
fine.
that out. Cut this bullshit out.
Sorry, I had to do that to him.
That's funny as hell.
Awesome. So, but the private chef stuff in general, that's so you'll travel anywhere. People can just hire you to what? Like, is it specifically events? Is it homes? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did like a little bit of like a hybrid, honestly, with that type of thing. Like, I've done like, for example, like people who are fans of me from the show, like they hired me to come into their house and do like a private dinner for like two of like it was like a couple.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's
a husband
awesome.
and wife went in there, did like a 3-course menu for them, paired it with wine, and they loved it, you know, and then like finished them with dessert. So it was really cool. And then, you know, then I've done like bigger things, like, you know, I've done like birthday parties for this other client that was like 50. It was like anywhere from like 50 to 65 people, like, you know, worth of people. I did it just a bunch of prep by myself and then just went there and cooked a bunch of food day of, like all the proteins, obviously, but you know, just hustling as much as I can on my own as of now until it's like too big for it to like, it just doesn't make sense to do that. Like I'm going to have to bring people in, obviously.
Yeah.
To expand. But, yeah, I mean, I've been kind of doing like whatever, like this, I think in December like 13th or something like that, I'm doing another another like 30-person like kind of catered style event, like making a bunch of fresh pasta and like some hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that and desserts and like just like whatever people really want. Like I could
That's
do
so cool.
weddings. Yeah, like it's fun. And it's like I love working in the restaurant because the whole camaraderie of working with people and whatnot. It's like the whole atmosphere, but definitely for me, I feel like I get more out of obviously doing my private chef stuff. Like I get to like I get to use like my own creative juices and whatnot, and then obviously get to structure my own schedule, which is like really really good for the family. Yeah, but until that's like my full-time thing, like I'm kind of like in between doing restaurants, and then in my free time or my days off I'm doing private chef stuff just to like add a little extra money to my monthly income type of thing.
Absolutely.
Do you ever aspire to open up your own spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, one day I do. I don't I've always really wanted to do that. I mean, like, I even had like a chef that I used to work for in LA. He left LA and opened up a new restaurant. And like, obviously with opening up like any restaurant or like a space like that, there's a lot of like trials and tribulations that come with it. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh yeah, like you have a building, like let's make some food. Like there's
Right.
a lot of shit that comes with that. You know what I mean? Which is like just trying to weigh out to see if that's like totally the route that I want to go. But like that was more or less like my overall like dream, like, coming up in the kitchen was like, yeah, I want my own spot one day. But
That's
like
awesome.
even thinking about now, like I have a little girl, almost 2. Like I think it'd be really cool to like have her be able to like come to like her dad's restaurant, like sit down, bring her
Absolutely.
friends.
We're
you know what I mean?
manifesting it, baby. That's going to happen.
Hell
Don't
Yeah.
you worry.
That'd be sick.
We will get there.
That'd be sick.
Now, this is more of a curiosity question that I have
good, 'cause
here.
I have
but
one of those too.
Can you explain the courses to me? Because I got to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
I never really
Yeah.
understood
Well, like
like
first
a
course, second course.
Great
yeah, like I don't
question.
understand like because you said that you it was like a 6-course meal at one point with one of the things. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's 6 courses. Like, so explain to me how many can there be total, and walk me through like why it's done this way.
Rookie.
I mean, you can really do whatever you want, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
So there's no limit. I could do like 24 courses.
I've seen like restaurants that have like done like 15 course menus. You know what I
That
mean?
has
But,
to
like,
take hours to get through.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's definitely like so like
Experience.
exactly like that's exactly what it is. Like with the smaller plates, the like more courses, it's like it's everything. It's the service. It's the food is like almost like an addition to some extent. Like obviously
Right,
the food's
okay.
super important. People are coming there for it, but it's like people are coming for the ambiance. People are coming for the service. Like the whole all around 360 experience. So it's like that's what you're paying that money for. It's not just like if you look at it just as like in. Like you're not going to those spots to get full, like you said earlier. Like I
Yeah.
like to go to a spot and feel like I'm full. Like if you want to, then just go to like a mom and pop type of spot. You know? what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think it's just for me that if I'm gonna like spend the money, like obviously having the experience is absolutely like worth it.
Yeah.
But it's also like I think it's a social media thing where everyone's like, you have to go here, the food.
Yeah.
You get, I feel like there's millions of food vloggers.
Mm.
It's really hard to decipher like which one is authentic. And yes, like I agree, like getting paid and coming in and doing the exposure is wonderful, but
Yeah.
how manipulated is that system? Because I've worked with restaurants. I know how difficult it is to explain to the person like, hey, I have to give an honest review. I might not like what I'm going to put out there, and
Yep.
you have to pay me for it.
Yep.
But I guess I'm just trying to say that when I go to these places, as much as I love the experience, I do need to feel like if I'm going to pay X amount of dollars, I don't want to leave there feeling like, okay, let's go get a slice of pizza now, so that
Yeah.
like I can
No,
feel
I
like
feel that.
I ate tonight.
I totally understand that. There's a lot of you're definitely not the first person I've heard that from. It's like there's
If you rave about the tuna and I come in, I can only have one bite, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. Okay,
Mhm.
I want the whole bowl.
Yeah.
I want the whole bowl
yeah
of charcuterie
yeah
or
No, that one made sense.
chip
Charcuterie boards are
chipachee.
good.
Chipachee.
Oh yeah.
Chipachee. I'm getting there. But yeah, okay. So now that I've distracted you,
Yeah.
how many courses is the right courses? Explain it all to me.
So for me, like for example, like this past summer, I did a really cool dinner. It was like for Seth Meyers and like Amy Schumer on the
Nice.
Vineyard, which was like super sick. Like
Very cool.
really, really cool. But for them, I did like a 5-course menu, including a dessert. So it's like
Okay.
like a starter, and then like, you like it can be structured kind of whatever way you want it to be, but you gotta like the way I think about it is like obviously on the front end of the menu, you're not trying to like fill people up. So then on the back end, they're like, oh my god, like I can't eat this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you want them to like still be hungry enough to keep eating the next course. You know what
Gotcha.
I mean? So it's like you don't want to put that like that dense, heavy, whatever it might be in the front half. Like you want to put that towards the tail end, if even. You know what I mean? But it's like then me and a couple of my friends from the show, we did this like little dinner series that we were traveling around, and it was called the 7th course. And that had like 5 like staple courses, and then there was like a thing called like an amuse bouche, which is like a kind of like a one biter that you would just like, it's like almost like something just to kind of like get you ready for the meal in a sense. It's like it's not like it's like a very quick kind of just like
Pre-workout.
yeah, yeah, exactly, pre-workout. And then there's another thing called like an intermezzo, which is like what they call like a palate cleanser. So like you'll have a bunch of food, and then you'll have like a sorbet or like a gelato or something like that, like something in the midst of like something to kind of just like clean your palate clean, so then you can keep enjoying the flavors of the rest of the menu, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense.
Yeah,
and you structure it out in a way that like does the food like advance. So like you're a mush tush. That starts. What's in that?
Mustache. So, so like it. So the way that I personally structure those is like if like I'll come up with a theme, like an overall theme for the menu.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so like it'll
gotcha.
like there'll be flavors that will like play on each other. You know, it might not. I might not just be like an Italian menu or a French menu. Like it might be like French style cooking techniques and certain flavors or ingredients, but then I might throw in like an Asian style way of like preparing something, you know what I mean? Or like marinating something, you know what I mean? In a sense of like,
that's cool.
you know what I mean? It's like, you can kind of fuse things, but then like a funny thing that chef used to say to me is like, he's like, you can do like infusions, but like, don't make it confusion. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like, don't make it like a fucking.
Was Chef the music guy? Because he sounds like a rapper.
That's all. That's my.
He's like, that's a bar.
Yeah, that's a fire right there.
That's a bar. That's funny. But yeah, it was just like little things like that. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to like, and like kind of to go back to what I was even saying earlier. It's like simplicity is the best. You know what I mean? It's like when you're doing too much of a bunch of stuff, it's like then like people are like, yeah, that was good, but like what was that? You know what I mean? It's like you want people to be like, oh man, like that scallop was like, you know, you can really taste that, like, you know, whatever components that you put alongside it, like it just, they all serve their purpose. You know what I mean? Like everything is like meshing well. It's like a perfect marriage, so to speak.
All right, so then in your ideal world, what's the sweet spot? You got to have like or is it not really matter to you?
As far as
how many courses?
I feel like for me, I think like 5 courses is like manageable. You know what I mean? Depending on like the party size.
But those courses, the dessert is not considered in the 5 courses. It's like the 5 courses and the dessert.
No, the dessert would be the 5th.
Oh, the dessert would be the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't
So
sure.
it'd be
Got
like
it.
it'd be like something light, like, you know, I like, for example, summer menus. I love starting them with like crudos, something light. You know what I mean? Like like citrus. You know,
I
what
love
mean?
those. I put those on all my salads.
Crudo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he saying the right?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of croutons.
Oh,
My fault. My fault. That's on me.
so I put those on my salads. He's like, that's on me.
My fault.
Just throw a button in there.
I need fucking hands.
That's gonna be my
It's from
next
the bear.
question.
Oh, okay. That's from the Bear. That's a cooking show, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was you for a second.
I thought it
sounds
was
like
for
it.
a second. So I was like, what was that?
That's good. He just does those little things.
That's funny.
All right, so croutons to start.
Yes, croutons to start, and then so yeah, like crudo, which is like
I don't know.
No.
That's
Okay,
why
so
I'm-
crudo is like very like thinly like shaved like or like sliced piece of like fish, for example.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you could get salmon crudo. You could get like, you know, you can make
Oh.
like the word crudo is like, you know, very, it's like thinly sliced.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Or
Got
like,
it.
for example,
I'm
like,
gonna use that all the time.
yeah, crudo.
I'm gonna go to deli. I'm gonna take the salami, crudo style.
Crudo style. They'll probably slap you with this salami. Definitely.
You get a big old
Hey,
piece.
get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
I love it.
That's hilarious. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like something light, you know, then maybe like a small, like kind of like soup style, you know, to kind of like a little warmer, a little heartier, like something that's like, you know, getting you ready for the rest of the meal. And then I usually either do, you know, like I usually always do like one fish like course and then like a protein course as far as just like either like lamb or like veal or, you know, whatever venison. I've done some venison ones which were like really cool. some type of game meat in a way, but and then finish off with like a nice dessert depending on like the season. Like all those things are like interchangeable. Like I don't really have like set menus that I can I send to people. That'd probably make my life a lot easier in a way. I'm just like having like structured menus and just being like, here's 5 options, pick whatever one you want. But it's like I feel like I just
Yeah, but you're still young. That's the
Yeah.
excitement part. That's the exciting
I was
part
gonna
of it.
say
is
that
putting
takes
stuff
away
together.
the creativity portion that you enjoy.
100%.
When you're a little bit older, you're like, all right, I've done every dish that I can think of. So now I'll tell you which ones.
I
are the
need to
best.
write this shit down.
Yeah, right. No, it's I do repeat some dishes that like people really do like though. You know what I mean? Because I just know it's like I know I can execute it well, and I know it's like a fan favorite. You know,
Same.
You know, exactly.
I'm telling you, dude. I make a crazy good bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
Can't be topped. All right, let's get into the So New England segment. We have 6 beautiful states here in New England. Have you been to all of them?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Awesome. Why don't you do me a favor and rank them in order? But here is the caveat. Here is the caviar.
Yep.
I would like you to rank them based on their culinary experience.
Rank them on culinary experience.
Like if you were going to tell someone, hey, if you're coming to New England, here is the best state to have food and which one's the worst.
Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't spent as much time out here in Rhode Island, but I definitely know.
Which is funny because we are number 1, just putting that out there.
The Rhode Island food scene is pretty unreal. Like you guys do have a lot of banging food, even like from like really nice restaurants to like even like, a spot that all my buddies tell me is like Pizza Marvin's. Like,
Yeah.
Like people are always like, oh, you got to get out there, dude. It's like
Pizza
bang.
Marvin's.
Yeah.
Beef and Marvin's Max.
Yeah. Like they're just like best pizza, like Sicilian slice, you can get a beer in there. It's just like, I was like, that sounds like my perfect like afternoon.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So there's like, I can't speak to all the great spots out here, but I definitely know there's a great food scene. I love Boston food scene. I don't love the food too much in the city as much. Like, I feel like it's like sometimes a little like there's some good spots. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like overall it's like slightly overrated in a way.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Although it's becoming not that hot. It's gotten pretty popular.
yeah, I
That
was
the
gonna
Boston
say,
food scene is a bit overrated.
Oh, I'm just saying in the city.
In the
Yeah.
city,
In
yes.
the actual city of
Yeah.
Boston, like it's kind of a pain in the ass to get down there. Then you get down there, the food's like it's not bad, but it's like
Listen,
it's okay.
we've had multiple food bloggers come in here, vloggers and bloggers come in here and say like the best food is not in the city. It's kind of more on the
Yeah,
outskirts
it's in like
of the
it's
Boston.
in the burbs, like outside
Yes.
the city.
And now we've got a chef saying the same exact thing. So it's
Take
gotta
that
be.
comment section.
It's got to be that. It's got to be right. Okay, but by state. So you're gonna go. Who are you gonna go number 1 with?
I mean, I got to go with Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
number
number
one.
one.
That's home.
It's
so,
okay.
So Mass first, Rhode Island. I'd say me. I don't know. It's like either a toss between like Vermont or Connecticut for me. I feel like
Okay.
Connecticut's got some good pizza. Like Connecticut, like they got some good stuff out there, like good delis and stuff when I've been out there for like baseball games and stuff in my past. But yeah, I would say okay, Connecticut third. Let's go Vermont. I can't really speak to Vermont food scene. Like I haven't really been out there like eating wise, so I don't know. I might be wrong, but maybe like Vermont fourth.
New Hampshire and Maine left.
Ooh, New Hampshire. New Hampshire does have some banging food though too. I think
It's just kind of difficult because the northeastern corridor of New England as a whole, it's just like there isn't a ton of city life. So
No.
that's usually what attracts
like
higher end restaurants and really good food. So I think that's why.
yeah,
It
I would
makes it a
say
little
New Hampshire,
difficult.
Maine. They're just somewhere at the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know. They can find their own spot. So I don't know too much to be honest with those two.
You a big sports fan?
I wouldn't say big, but like I used to play baseball growing up.
Okay.
Like that was my big sport. Play football a little bit too, but like baseball was like my thing.
All right. Well, we'll follow your lead. Give us a ranking on the New England sports teams. Favorite to
Ooh.
least favorite.
New England sports teams.
I'm assuming Sox won. I'm hoping Sox won since you're a baseball guy.
I think they won. Yeah.
You gonna give Sox one?
Yeah, I would say Red Sox, Pats, Bruins.
Red Sox, Pats, Bruins.
Yeah,
All right.
I like Bruins games too. And oh no, Celtics too. I kind of fucking forgot the Celtics. I love the Celtics. I love going to Celtics games too. I would say okay, let's go Sox, Pats, Celtics, Bruins.
Gotcha.
That's
And then
where
we'll
I'm
put the Revs underneath, which is the New England Revs. It's our soccer team.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're always just trying to shout them out and put them on the map a little bit. If there was a dish that could represent each state,
All right, so I think mass pasta, like a banging pasta dish. I would say New Hampshire. New Hampshire would probably be. I mean, this isn't really a dish, but I think like New Hampshire. I've had some like really good oysters up in New Hampshire.
Ooh,
You know?
there you go.
So-
all right, we'll do
Like,
it. That's
I like-
actually the second time, right?
I think so.
Didn't Matt
Someone,
give
I
oysters?
think Matt
there
said
we
the
go.
same
Yeah,
thing.
like I've had some really good oysters up in New Hampshire. Maine, obviously lobster. Let's go lobster roll. You know,
Nice.
or like
Hot or cold?
lobster. Oh, I like cold.
Ooh, okay.
I like cold. I
Okay.
like cold.
Came down a little bit of a notch for me, but whatever. It's okay. I still
But
trust
you-
you as a chef.
But you like the hot butter.
I gotta get the hot butter.
Yeah, I
It's
like
the
the
only
hot
thing I like
butter
about
too.
Connecticut.
But I like yeah.
The hot butter lobster roll.
Yeah, I like
they
a hot butter
introduced to
too. But I feel like I grew up on like the cold, the mayo.
Yeah,
you
I
know
feel like
what
that's the
mean?
most traditional. It's
Yeah.
just that for me, I prefer like warm lobster. Cold lobster, I'm kind of like, on the fence about.
Okay, I feel that. So Maine and then Vermont. What's Vermont got going on up there? I don't know, Vermont. I feel like when I went up there, Vermont actually had some really good pizza. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what.
Second time we've
Ooh.
heard
The second time we've heard that,
Yeah.
that Vermont's
Like,
got
which
pretty
was
good.
like a total curveball.
Yeah.
you know, because it's like
Yeah.
just doesn't feel like that fits. You know,
yeah.
but it's like it was actually pretty good. It didn't look as good as you don't think it would taste, but then you get in there, you're like,
Do you remember what it was called?
like the spot I went to. No, this is like years ago.
Okay.
But I remember it was like a small pie. It was like a small like square pie.
It's the spot, right?
I think so.
What was it?
Pizza Ida?
Oh, it could have been. What else? I think we had one more. No. One
You
more
got,
state?
yeah,
Rhode Island, Connecticut.
Rhode Island
Island?
and Connecticut.
Rhode Island. What do you guys got out here? That's like known.
I think you need to come
Calamari.
down and have a little bit. We
Yeah.
do got a good calamari dish.
I'll
Yeah?
take you
A little
around.
Rhode Island Kamal style.
Yeah.
A little banana
I
peppers
bet
in
you
there.
he'd like Spain. I mean, everyone likes Spain.
Spain's delicious, but
Yeah. No,
a good
I mean I don't know the food scene out here, so I don't know what I would give y'all.
yeah, I don't know what like a good dish. I mean, obviously,
Probably something Italian too. I don't know.
yeah,
I mean,
I-
seafood could work. You're like,
seafood here is good. I would say it's probably better in the Maine area
okay.
because I just think you probably get fresher fish up there.
Yeah.
We do have a heavy Italian and Portuguese influence, so
Mhm.
there's a ton of really good Portuguese food if you're into
I love Portuguese food.
Portuguese style food.
Yeah.
But we got like stuffies too. That's really only a Rhode Island thing. We do clam cakes. Again, clam cakes and chowder. Clam cakes are really only a Rhode Island thing. A lot of people don't really have clam cakes in other parts of New England even.
No.
So, but I mean, if I were going to choose, I would probably go with the calamari personally. But
All right. Yeah.
Just 'cause it's
we
like,
give
you know.
Rhode Island calamari.
there we go.
There it is.
And then Connecticut, usually pizza. So I don't know what you're going to go with now.
Connecticut can get like I'd probably do like for them, I don't know, do like a good like salmon dish probably for Connecticut.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Probably bang that.
Sounds good. All right. Is there anything when it comes to the
Sorry.
you okay?
Yeah.
What would you say is the most overrated thing when it comes to the food scene in New England?
Oh, food scene in New England overrated. And like all of New England, I feel like I don't know, like I've had some really banging Italian food in New England, of course, but then I feel like there's like such an influx of Italian food everywhere across New England.
Yeah.
It's like you think like it's like hard to find those little small like spots that are really like banging it out. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's like
Authentic.
yeah, so many people are like just like calling themselves Italian food, but it's like this isn't Italian. Like you guys are making shit out of fucking cans and
Yeah.
whatnot. It's like this isn't, you know what I mean? But then there's like the old school, like the Nonas and whatnot, who like really came from like Sicily or whatever, and
Right.
coming over here and like bringing like hundreds of years of tradition like on a plate for you to eat. You know, like those spots, like I love those. And like there's a couple of them in the North End, that I like. But then like even in the North End, there's like the whole street is obviously full of them. But
Right,
then like
right.
there might be like one or two in the whole North End that are like actually like throwing down, you know, and then the rest of them are just like some generic shit, you know.
I
like,
gotcha.
feels like it always like comes from the same box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It probably does.
It probably does.
Cisco's.
Cisco's, exactly. Exactly.
And what would you say is the most underrated thing about the food here in New England?
Underrated. Underrated food in New England. Good. I've never thought about that one, honestly. I don't know. Underrated?
Something to ponder on.
Yeah, underrated food in New England.
Doesn't have to be like a particular dish, but like the food scene in general. Like if there's something that you think like people should really try more, or it's like, oh, this is like a very underrated thing that New England offers food wise that people aren't really consuming enough. Like hypothetically speaking, we could say the reverse of your underrated and be like, oh, if we were in like Utah, be like, hey, you'd be surprised how good our Italian food is here in New England.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta have a lot of really good Italian food.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know if like it was just me that I was surprised by it, but like obviously like there's a lot of Brazilian like, you know, people out in like in New England. So like I started getting like going to like Brazilian steakhouses and whatnot. Like some of the like sides and different things that they got, like I don't even know how to pronounce half of them.
Yeah.
But like they are banging. Like some of the Brazilian like steakhouses and like little like almost like even when I was living in Lowell, there was like just like some old like Venezuelan style, like, you know, just like old school, like just like Spanish style food that was just like, it wasn't nothing fancy. It was just like rice and chicken and whatever else, but like it was banging.
So the most underrated thing about New England
I'd
would
say
be
like some
the
like
culture.
Yeah, I would say like maybe like Brazilian food. I'll just like generalize it for that. Like,
Love it.
I feel like Brazilian food is probably a little just maybe not seen as much by, you know, maybe some, at least in my opinion, in my circle. Like I don't know too many people who are out there eating Brazilian food like that.
That's fair.
Hell yeah.
It's a good one.
I love it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on the So New England
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
me
being here. Thank you for hanging out with us.
No, it's been awesome.
Where can everyone find you online?
So Instagram wise, you guys can find me at like Chef for the Day. That's what my tag is. And then all of my links for, you know, my website, you know, different ways that you guys can kind of get in touch with me. Yeah, it's all that right there.
Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
That is going to conclude episode 65 of the So New England podcast. Please remember, folks, life's better in New England.
Red Sox crowd